Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another episode of The Designated Designer. Coming at you this week with a faceless episode just because I have been struggling. I'm going to be real with you guys because that's what this podcast is all about. So, the last solo episode that I filmed, I think was like, oh my God, like the beginning of June. I want to say that's insane. I didn't even think it was that long, but the last solo episode I made was like probably beginning of June because Shelby and I had filmed our guest episode on like June 6th or something, and I have not filmed a solo episode. I have not filmed an episode like since then. I filmed another guest episode back to back. I filmed Shelby's on the 6th of June, and then I did another guest episode, which I'll be launching really soon in like another episode or two. I did another one the day after that, and then I just cooked myself. I was like, I burned myself out podcasting, if that is even a real thing. And I was so exhausted and just like overwhelmed. My business really picked up this summer, which is like amazing news, but that also like totally consumed so much of my time. I have also been so anxious and stressed about my social presence because everybody keeps saying that that is like so important. I don't even have a website live yet. So there's just really been a lot of like stuff kind of crushing down on me in the last couple weeks that has been kind of keeping me from being in a good headspace to podcast. And to be honest with you, I really wasn't even going to film one today, but I figured, what the heck? I am all about sharing every part of my journey. And even though I'm going to be honest, I don't want to be doing this today. I don't want to be here right now filming this. I'm going to do it anyway because business growth is all about doing the things that we don't want to do. And even Made by James said that the people that succeed in business are the ones that do the bullshit that nobody else wants to do. So here I am, dragging my butt to the mic today, coming at you with an solo episode. So how you guys doing? How's everybody's week? How's everybody's beginning of July going? Does anybody have like any fun plans for the 4th of July? I will be spending mine primarily working, even though I told all my clients I'm taking the day off just to do some catch up. And it's like, I've had so much going on. So like in my little world, I wrapped up my first ever passion project. That's a huge milestone for me. 2nd year in business. I finally was able to carve out some time for doing a passion project. So I redesigned Wavy Tint's entire identity. I actually shared a reel on a couple of the platforms I'm on showing what that brand guide looked like. And I'm going to be rolling out a social campaign to follow, showcasing the logo that I designed like 3 or 4 years ago for Wavy Tint and the brand that I properly redesigned for them just recently. So got to do my first passion project. I have a couple projects moving in the background. I got some really exciting stuff. I am wrapping up a new brand for one client. It was like a little one-off identity. They have a company. They're actually launching like a subdivision within their company, and they wanted some extra branding to go along with that. I just got the approval message this week, and I will be packing that up for them. I'm really excited about that. I'm kind of like right in the guts of another rebrand project. We're pioneering through the discovery phase right now. I just got round 1 of feedback, and I'm working through the revisions in the discovery phase. So hopefully I will be getting that on the table to start wrapping up towards the end of July and into August. And then I also have another rebrand, or no, this one isn't a rebrand, it's a regular brand for diesel towing company, which was really, really super exciting. And they just completed their onboarding process. So finally getting to a point in business where it's like, as one client is offboarding, another one is in the working phase. And when they're in the working phase, another client is being onboarded. Like, I really got a good flow going right now. I don't know if it's just by luck or chance or the fact that I spent 600 hours my first year in business working on building my systems in Notion, or maybe it's just a combination of all three. But I'm really excited about it. And it's really been energizing me to see my systems moving so effortlessly and things like that. Very exciting to be announcing that we are doing our first ever commercial wrap for Stankin Good. So we did a couple like other small jobs. Like I would get window designs for the Raven. my favorite breakfast place ever. If there's any local like PA foodies, definitely check out the Raven 96 in Easton, PA. It is like my literal favorite breakfast place I've ever been to. And the girl that owns it, I actually used to go to school with in Kutztown. We weren't in the same program, so I really didn't interact with her a lot while I was like going back and forth from classes, but there was a local bar called Gianotti's and I used to go there. There was one summer that I was there like every Thursday and it was like my favorite. And she was a bartender there. So that's actually how I got to know her. And I always really liked her. You know, she was always just such a sweet person and she made a lasting impression on me. Like even though we really didn't know each other then, I remembered her as just being a really nice sweetheart. And, you know, that stuck with me. And then I think I had her like on Facebook or something. I don't even remember how I stumbled across that she was opening her own breakfast place. But when I saw it, I knew I had to go support it. And I was so glad that I did. The first experience was amazing. Everyone there is just so friendly and inviting. And we're like friends with her whole family now. So it's just a really great place to be. Any local foodies, go to the Raven. But anyway, I digress. Back to the story. I did some like local printing stuff for them. So like they have these windows outside the restaurant and they wanted the windows to have designs on it. So excuse me while I crack a Red Bull. So they wanted to get some graphics done on the windows to kind of like give some privacy to the kitchen area because they have an open kitchen and they want like their customers to be able to enjoy the open kitchen, but they're in the silk mill and it's kind of like any traffic can come through the building and they have all these windows right outside on the one wall to the restaurant. So they get people like staring through the window and like gawking all day. So they kind of wanted a little bit of privacy there. So we ended up doing some nice window graphics for them. So I can't say that this is like the first commercial install, but this is like the first commercial vehicle install. So Matt was able to do some color change stuff in between his jobs, and that was really cool to see. Now we're at the point where it's like, okay, it's commercial time, baby. I'm wrapping. Well, he's wrapping. I designed and prepped, and I'm getting the prints. I designed this like trailer wrap for a local company that I met through a local networking event. Just reminding you guys how important local networking events are. Yes, social media is great. Yes, filming reels and putting content out there is super important. And yes, that does help drive client sales, but there is nothing like getting your face out into the community and meeting people face to face. It has changed the trajectory of my business, and I'm so glad I did it, even though I was like dreading doing it. So super important to kind of be able to do that stuff. This trailer job came from there. I met them at a local BNI chapter meeting and really happy, really thankful, super excited. I can't wait to see Stankin Good Design's first commercial wrap, local commercial wrap, driving around. Like I am so over the moon about all of this because I did Roofing Army. And they're out in Michigan. They got theirs wrapped and everything with a local wrap company, but they're out in Michigan. Like, I don't get to see that. So this is like the first ever Stankin Good design that's going to be local. And I am like so freaking stoked about it. Anyway, tons and tons of stuff is happening and I'm staying really busy and I'm just really thankful. It's given me some time to do a lot of like much needed reflection and things like that. You know, where do I want to take my business now? Like now that I'm finally starting to get established and I'm just sharing my journey. Okay. Year one is survival. Year one is like, how the F do I pay bills? How the F do I survive? Year one is dense and intense. Year two, I'm like kind of comfortable, like not all the way comfortable. I don't think you ever will be as a business owner, but now it's like stuff's like moving. Like I'm like busy and it's really, really cool. So got stuff moving, systems are in place. Like I was just telling Matt the other day, I think it was literally this morning. I was like, you know how insane it is? I checked my record logs because I actually track. So I'll track a job from like the time that it gets inquired, as in somebody fills out my project request form. I'll track a job from that moment in time where I have a like property in Notion where it's like inquired, so that I have the date that they inquired about the project. Then it's like I have a little form that's date started. So the time between the inquiry, the initial inquiry, and then me officially getting the client onboarded has been proving to track to be about a month of time, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. That's just my personal experience with this. Like, I don't know how quick other designers out there are getting their clients like from the inquiry to the onboarding phase. So let me know if you guys have any like insight on that. But from the initial inquiry, like when they fill out a project request, for me to like get them their proposal, they review their proposal, they approve their proposal, I send them the design contract, I send them the deposit link, they get the contract signed and the deposit paid. That's been proving to take about a month. And then, because originally, I was tracking these projects from the date that they inquired until the date that it was completed, but that was not an accurate gauge of the time I was spending on the job, and I needed to figure out when that would be. So what I did to solve that problem is I start tracking when they inquired, and then when they complete the onboarding process, that is the date the project starts, because that's when I become involved with it. So then I'll track that date and then until project completion, which is like final balance is paid and final files are turned over. So started really honing in on that a lot because didn't really realize my first year in business, it was taking like 6 months, 4, 5, 6 months to turn around branding projects. And I was like, oh my God, if this continues, I will surely go out of business. And the only way I was able to make that executive business owner type of decision is because I had the data, is because I had the numbers to prove that to me. So then I was able to look at it and start to see a trend and be like, oh shit, this has to get improved. So at that point, I really started to get serious about building out the remainder of my systems. And like, it's okay. To anyone out there listening, like, it is okay if your projects are taking an insane, unusual amount of time. Because at this point, I am turning around things faster. But I swear, it's like sometimes you just have to learn the hard way. And last year was me learning a lot of things the hard way. And then being able to make intelligent, scientifically backed up guesstimates about how you can change things and how you can make them better in the future. So like, if your projects are taking a really long time and seemingly everybody else out there is turning around their stuff in a month, because like I was in that boat, I was like, why are my projects taking 5, 6, 7 months? And there's designers online saying that they do their brand projects in a month. Like, what's wrong with me? If that's you, there's nothing wrong with you. You just have to learn how you work and how to be able to work with yourself instead of against yourself, because that's what I was doing in the beginning. That was the mistake I was making. So I put these systems together so that I could track things like that and start to understand how long jobs are taking. And the long and short of it, now that I've told this long-winded story, back to back, this is what I told Matt this morning, back to back, I had 2 jobs come through that took me 6 days to turn around. One of them was like a $200 job. A client just wanted some stuff repackaged, so I just had to charge a repackaging fee. And then actually both of them were repackaging fees, which any designer out there, if you do work for a client and you know, you include so much stuff in a package, let's say, because the situation that this happened to me with, I did a logo for a client and then I did business cards and I did apparel. On the apparel project, they had a custom request to like rework the logo to fit with like embroidery. We were having an issue where they couldn't embroider the subtext. It was too small. So I had to reconfigure the logo for that project in order to be able to be embroidered. So I provided that file just in the orientation and the color situation that it was for that project. They came back to me like a year later and they were like, hey, I don't know if you do this, but can we get a full logo suite of that custom alternate version of the logo? We really ended up liking it and we use it for the primary logo now. And I was like, sure, I would just have to charge a small repackaging fee and I can get that done for you. So they wanted the apparel repackaged and they wanted the logo repackaged, and I just charge $199 for like a repackaging fee. It's like an hour of my time. And then you have the taxes and processing fees built into it. And it worked out great. They were like, yeah, no problem. I was able to get that turned around. So I had 2 jobs back to back. One of them was like $200. The other one was like $400 back to back. And I turned both of them around in 6 days. I was like, holy shit, dude, this is getting real. This is getting serious. So it's been really cool to be able to see that kind of stuff. And my brand projects went from taking 4, 5, 6, 7 months down to like 2 to 3. consistently, which is really cool. And you know what? Some people might say that 2 to 3 months is still too long for branding projects. And sometimes it goes as much as 4, but definitely never 5 or 6 months anymore. And I know I'm only going to get better in time. So yeah, maybe it might take me like 3 to 4 months to get them turned around right now. But someday I'll probably be able to do it in 2 to 3 consistently. And then someday maybe it'll be 1 to 2. The thing is, the more that you practice with your systems in place, the faster you're going to get every single day that you do it. So I've just been really kind of going through a lot of that self-reflection and stuff like that. And I just wanted to put together like a quick little episode for you guys where I just kind of yammer on about a bunch of random stuff, just to kind of recap and get you caught up on my life in the past month, because I feel like it really has been like a whole month since I got to talk to you guys, just us. I had a couple of super exciting guest episodes in between, but they really did burn up a lot of my energy. And I never did guest episodes before, so I was like so overwhelmed. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done a guest episode before, and I don't know how to structure it. Like, I don't know, somebody help me. And I just jumped in and I was like, okay, I don't know how to do this, but there's only one way to figure it out, and it's to stumble through it the first time and then stumble not so much the second time, and then you're able to walk normally the third time, and then you're able to jog the fourth time. Like, this is just how things work. So I just jumped in and I did it. Luckily, Shelby was amazing, and she was the best first guest because we've been friends since like high school, so I felt comfortable. The second guest, actually, I went to school with in Kutztown, but like definitely not as close of friends as me and Shelby were. So I was actually a little nervous for that one, but I think we did great. And I really love the topic we talked about, and I'm super excited to share it with you guys. Other than that, life has been pretty chill. I think some of you saw that I got a mini bike recently, like a little Coleman bike from Tractor Supply, because when we went to Hyperfest, the vacation that I told you guys about, there were these mini bikes there, and we were cramming our butts on like this small mini bike. And for next year, Matt was like, absolutely not. You got to learn how to ride one. So I was like, I don't want to, but okay. I was always so scared, but he knew I was going to love it. So he pushed me out of my comfort zone, which is why I love him so very much. And we got mini bikes. We ended up driving to New York for his, and it was like the most beautiful drive I had ever been on in my entire life. I don't know where in New York the heck this place was, but it was both of our first times ever on Interstate 84, which was an exciting milestone, and I made sure to get a video of it. I'm like terrible with trying to get videos of stuff like that, but this one I was like, I want this. I definitely want this. So I forced myself into it. I don't know. I'm old-fashioned. I like to live in the moment. That's why I struggle so much with making content. It's like, I've never been one to like film my life. I just live it. So it's been really hard to film content. I think it's okay if my content sucks right now. I'm just going to focus on my podcast because this is something that I enjoy doing and is easy for me. I think someday I'm just going to have to hire somebody to like follow me around everywhere I go and video me, because that's the only way I'm going to be able to do consistent content. But yeah, got this mini bike. First time I learned how to ride it, I did so good, and we've been riding them around Matt's mom's yard. I did so good. I was so proud of myself. I was so confident by the end of it. Like, I was so scared in the beginning, but then I was so confident in the end of it. I was like so excited, and I think this comes with anything. Second time we went to ride them, I got overly cocky and I was like revving the thing, and it's automatic, so you can't do that because it doesn't have a clutch. So all that gas dumps into the engine, and I was like doing the ying, ying, ying and let go of the brake, and it took me straight into the back of his stepdad's pickup truck. So that was fun. Would have loved to film a podcast episode that week, but I was recovering from slamming into the back of a pickup truck. The upside was I learned a very, very, very valuable lesson that the bike is not your bitch. You are the bike's bitch. Learned a very valuable lesson at a very low cost. I only got like a black and blue mark on my shoulder. I got black and blue marks on my like lower legs, and my knee got the worst of it. So I hit the driver's side of the tailgate. Well, it was like the bumper. So my right side of my body got clipped, and I messed up my knee pretty good. I couldn't walk the next day normal. Like I couldn't bend my knee because it was so swollen, and it's still like a little bit tender. I can't kneel on that knee yet, but we're recovering, and I learned a very, very valuable lesson for a low price. It could have been way worse. So I'm really glad the pickup truck was there to cushion my fall. Otherwise, I would have been going into the ditch that was dug out because he is installing a garage on his property. So very thankful to have learned a valuable lesson, low cost. But that was also something that happened in like the course of the last month. Other than that, I pretty much told you about all of the client work that I have right now and all of the kind of stuff that I'm doing. Oh, one really exciting thing is I got nominated to be a spotlight speaker at the local Slate Belt Chamber of Commerce. So that is super, super exciting. And I'm like really nervous, but I'm at the point in my business where it's like, I'm not going to say no to anything unless it is like extremely uncomfortable. If I am so uncomfortable to the point where I am unwell, I'll say no to stuff, but anything that's like only slightly uncomfortable or like medium spicy uncomfortable, I'm just saying yes to everything because I've really been enjoying pushing myself out of my comfort zone and doing these things that I normally would never see myself doing, like public speaking. You guys know, my day ones know how nervous I was when I was starting this podcast and how much I hate public speaking, but really excited about it. I think it's going to be a good opportunity. And like I said, I've really been loving like the local networking events lately. It's been doing wonders for my business. So I'm going to just keep doing that. And I appreciate everybody that tunes into this podcast. I know it's just usually me yammering on about a bunch of random stuff, but to each and every one of my listeners, I appreciate you so much. Like, you're the reason that I drag my butt to the screen and to this mic when I don't feel like doing it, because it's so nice. I feel like I get to connect with you. I feel like we get to catch up and be like long distance friends. And so many of you like reach out to me on Instagram and my DMs, and every single time it makes me smile. Like the one listener reached out to me to ask about pricing for a client, and I got to yammer on in an audio recording on Instagram to kind of try to help her, and it was so much fun. Like I enjoy doing that kind of stuff. I enjoy getting to meet you guys and get to know more about you guys and your businesses and every walk of life. It's just been such an honor and a pleasure. And the other listener actually asked me, I didn't forget about you. The other listener had asked me if I had like a bookkeeping or a financial episode, and I said I didn't yet, but I would love to film one. So I had asked them to ask me like their burning questions and things like that. And if anybody listening ever does have like a question about anything design related or design business or creative industry or like literally about anything, just DM me on anywhere that you can find me, like any platform. Just send me a DM, be like, hey, I have a question about this. Like, can you make a podcast episode? I might even ask you to be a guest, you know, like if it's a question that you have some knowledge of, that maybe it's like we have mixed knowledges of, like I have 50% of a certain type of knowledge about a subject, you have the other 50%, like let's do a collab episode. I love making them. It was so much fun, the 2 guest episodes that I did make. And like I said, I'll be dropping that other guest episode really soon for you guys as soon as the client. Yeah, not the client. I don't even know what to call them. The guest. As soon as the guest is able to review the edited version and give me the approval to post it, I'll be posting it. And yeah, ask away. I love answering questions. And the reason why I didn't make this episode about that topic is because I want to be able to do proper research. And I just, with the 4th of July weekend, everything has been so crazy. I just don't have the time. So we'll be looking at doing that episode like probably mid to end of July. And if you want to be a guest, just let me know. And I'd love to have you on. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for listening. It means so much to me. I love getting to just do this and share parts of my business journey with you guys. And it's crazy to me that you guys think that this is entertaining. Like I literally feel like I just sit here and ramble on about like nonsense. Like it doesn't even make sense in my brain, but everyone that has reached out has been so kind and lovely and wonderful. And have been like, oh my gosh, like your episode inspired me with this or changed my perspective with that. Or like, yes, I relate. Like it's just so crazy. So thank you guys so much. So yeah, this is pretty much just a general listener appreciation episode. Recap on the last like month of my life and kind of catching you guys up to speed because I did kind of fall off the wagon a little bit, but you guys are also understanding and wonderful. Like, you've made it easy to come back to it. Thank you so much. And I hope that everybody has a wonderful 4th of July weekend. Enjoy some cookouts and barbecues and fireworks safely. Make sure anyone doing fireworks is being very, very safe about it. And I will catch you in the next one. Talk soon. Bye.